عمر رضي الله عنه كن في الدنيا كأنك غريب أو عابر السبيل أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. My friends, my fellow youngsters, brothers, sisters, we have this thing that we know inevitable, something that is the most certain thing in life is that one day we're going to age and we're going to leave this world. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent many humans to this world before we came, and many will come and live this world after we leave. They will probably live in the same house, and they might drive the same car if you sell it and someone else inherits it. They might go to the same college, same university that you went to. Many came before, many are there today, and many will come in the future. And every time we hear about somebody dying or someone dying on TV, death has become something so common. Like, there are people dying hundreds, hospitals, and in war, sickness, cancer. Someone had a stroke, heart attack. We hear about this. If you turn on the TV, someone was snipers killed someone. There was some terrorist attack. There was this going on. There was this gang fight between the bikers. So much is happening that we hear of, that you see. Like now, the concept of just feels like some, friction. Like really, it's something like we see in movies. It's so easy to easily taken or heard of or read about, or seen. Just like someone was fighting in a movie and it just happened. So we need to understand life a little bit more real. The way the world projects it, it's just a small entertainment, or it's something normal. It's going to happen. Don't worry about it. When it happens, we'll talk about it. But we have to look at it a little bit from a more real perspective, because being young doesn't mean that we are, we are protected from any, or from death, or from the certainty of death. Everyone here will have to face the final moment of his life or her life. So we have to look at life as a journey. How much we need, and what we need, what we have to accomplish in life. It has to be done for a higher purpose. I would request if you put your cell phones, slide your cell phones an arm distance away from you. Or don't use them, because if you use them, there's absolutely no benefit, except that you're surrounded by angels and you'll be forgiven, inshallah. So you have this vehicle or this transportation that you're in, and that's the dunya. And in life, you will see so many things. Like a traveler, you will ride the bus or your car up north or somewhere. You will see beautiful scenery. You might see a dead deer on the street. You might see a car accident. You might want to stop off somewhere to have some snacks or food or a meal. You'll see so much, But this is not where I want to stay. If you're flying to Florida or California, you have a transit at New York or Washington or Chicago, you need to eat. You need to use the washroom. You might need to send some emails. You might need to find a Wi-Fi spot or hotspot. You have all this going on in your life, but that's not your ultimate purpose. You need to find the gate number and be there 45 minutes prior to take off, because you need to be at a destination. And if you get caught up in just the glamour and the beauty, or shopping in the mall of the airport, the terminals, you're gonna forget, and you're going to miss something really important in your life. It could be a job interview, it could be someone's funeral, it could be a wedding, and that can always be replaced sometimes. You can get another job. If you miss the engagement, you could be there for the wedding. So there are other places of enjoyment that will come. If you missed his, you can make it to his sister's. So you can always somehow recompensate for some loss. Life is the same way. In life, you will see a lot of happiness, a lot. Sometimes you will laugh all night, and sometimes you will cry all night. Sometimes you will have so much food, you don't know what to do with it. And sometimes you don't have nothing that you want. Ramadan will come, you have the fridge stacked with food. And then days will come when you're a student, you have no one to cook for you, and you don't want to eat a burger, you don't want any fast food. Times will come where you're healthy, you're pumping iron, you're running, you're jogging, you feel like you're on top of the world. And sometimes you feel like You can't even get out of bed because you're sick. Sometimes everything is going well in life. Perfect. You know, you wanted this, you got this, you wanted this, you got it, and everything you listed, you got. And sometimes having everything will have no meaning to you in your life because you want something better or you want something more important. You know, person when they get married, they got everything. They got their wife, they got their children. But in their relationship, if there is no honesty, the wife and the husband feel like they have lost everything in seconds because they've lost the main core of their life, which is their relationship, their children, their house, their family. They work so hard for it. And in seconds, you know. So this is the journey of life. You know, it'll get bumpy, it'll get wild, it'll get high, the tides will go against you, it'll get stormy, it'll get windy, it'll get sunny sometimes. Inshallah, many times you will see the fruits of your efforts, you will see your children grow, you will see your parents become old, you'll be there on their side when they need you. So this is the journey of life. But why are we doing all of this in life? You know, why are we pursuing a degree and a career in life? Because, you know, even animals, they have a purpose for the limit they have. They wake up, they want to hunt, they want to feed their children, and they want to sleep. What gives you and I a superiority over any animals or any creation of the world? You know, Allah says, وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. Why? إِنَّا عَرَضْنَا الْأَمَانَةَ عَلَى السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَالْجِبَالِ فَأَبَيْنَ أَنْ يَحْمِلْنَهَا وَأَشْفَقْنَا مِنْهَا وَحَمَلَهَا الْإِنسَانِ. You know, they reproduce, we reproduce. You know, having children is easy. Who said it's difficult? I mean, just go outside and see what's happening. You know, people are being sexually abused and girls are having children at the age of 13, 14. Who's saying having children is difficult, but to raise a child is challenging? You know, animals have children, you know, and some of them probably do a better job than humans who don't take care of their children. So it's not just about having children or having fun or pursuing a career. Life has a far greater meaning than just passing time. You know, what am I going to do in life? What am I going to see in the future? Everything that I make, every decision that I make now, you know, if we plan to text somebody and talk to somebody, we're going to be their friends, and we are making a decision for our life. We're going to be with this person for the rest of our life. If I'm dedicating my heart or my love to someone, I've made that decision. And when you want to have a child, you have to make that decision. And when you have that child, raising that child is your decision. You have to raise it the right way. Because this child could be a criminal and make you spend so much money just bailing him out of jail and fighting for lawyers for him. So there's a lot of challenges that we can, if we neglect things, in seconds we can lose a lot of brain and psychological benefits. The essence is, my friends, is that you and I really don't think about that. Like, you know, cell phones, we're so busy, but the things that surround us, we actually don't get time to think about the things that are reality. And that's the consumer world. It takes you in, and you don't even know what hit you. Days will go by, years will go by in our life, and we'll feel like, wow, what did I do in my life? Although I put an empire together, I have such a heavy bank balance or a career, my degrees, but degrees doesn't mean you're educated or you're really well-mannered. So this is something that we need to work on as youngsters, because a lot of these decisions that we make when we're young, they affect us in the future. So if you pick the wrong wife or the wrong husband, they will affect you for the rest of your life. If you pick the right job or the right career, it will be affecting you positively or negatively for the rest of your life. You know, so this is where all of us make these, you know, decisions that we don't even want to talk about. You know, and we don't know how to talk about in life. And if we had our priorities set, it would be much easier finding a career, finding a partner in life, raising children. You know, raising children. Why are more than 49% of marriages in America lead into divorce, fall into divorce? Why? Why are more than 50% of Muslim marriages who are in the medical physician field, within the first 2 years of residency, fall into a divorce? Why? Well, I'm not saying it's just finance, but there are many things that you deal with. You know, life is not just fun and games. You can have it while preparing for the purpose of your life. But there are things that you will have to face in life, and that we are facing today. For a person that's involved with social affairs and family affairs and family counseling, it's very challenging to hear that the most, decent person will have to go through challenges in life. That you never expected these people to go through what they're going through. So don't feel like you are some exception, that everything will be perfect in my life. As a Muslim, we believe in consequences of everything that we do. Not only in this world and also in akhirah. Every single thing that we do. So many things that you don't even remember, but they have been documented by Allah. The prayers that we miss, the wrong that we see, the backbiting that we do, smoking and the drugs and the partying and anything that a person does. Because it's done so easily, doesn't mean there's no consequences to it. Because God has made wrong easy for someone, doesn't mean God likes that person. Because evil has made it very simple for you, doesn't mean Allah loves you. Doesn't mean that. Like a fisher. When he goes out fishing, he throws that rope into the water and lowers the bit, and the fish is living perfect, in the water. Doesn't need anything from outside the water. We as Muslims are living perfect in our deen. We don't need anything from outside this deen to entertain us, to make us feel happy. Now, but this fish under the water, when it sees this desire, you know what? That's a free piece of meat right there. It's coming to me. So the world will come to you. That girl is coming to me. That guy is coming to me. The musics are coming to me. The world, the money is coming to me. Everything just my way. Don't feel that it's coming for your favor. Just like this fish underwater feels like it's living perfect. Got his own world, got the freedom. What happens? Because of the hastiness of completing a wish. And it's not unlawful for her to consume a piece of meat. For us, things are not unlawful. But sometimes to be hasty in things, even anything, and not giving it the chance to grow or form organically or religiously, it can hurt the person in this world and the next life, in those decisions. So you have this fish in the water living perfect, and here we are, this fish, boom, strikes out. Little does a fish know that there is a hook waiting, and that hook is a trap of the devil. Little does a human know that there's a hook of the devil, that he's trying to hook you onto something. It could be, for example, drugs. Okay? So drugs is something that it's so easily done, but before someone could even, discover or introspect of what just happened to me, this guy or this person or this sister or this brother is hooked onto it. A relationship, which is outside of wedlock, not married, no relation, nothing is confirmed, and you just got hooked onto it, and that will be used. What happens to the fish is, it's actually not just the hook. Right? If you grab that fish and you left it in the water, hopefully that fish can work his way off the hook and live off and recover. But what happens in the next pull is that you hook that fish and you pull it out of the environment. You understand what I'm saying? So now you even take off that fish from the hook and you drop it into a dry surface. It will not only just die, it will suffer. What is it? It dies right away. It will suffer. What happens to humans, that they get hooked into the dunya and they get pulled out of the deen while they're enjoying. They have everything. God's given us all the options: prayer, fast. So the shaitan hooks us. It could be many tools. All right. When it hooks us, we are pulled out of it. Now we are put into an environment which is basically dry surface. We don't have any connection with Allah. We don't have any purification for our souls. We don't have any reminders. We're just out in the world, and we will hit a Friday Jummah khutbah. We will listen to a speech about a topic that we want to hear about, and with this intention that if I feel like it's going to fit my life, I will listen to it. And I say this all the time, speeches and lectures, and this could be a medium of inspiring you to change and perfect the direction of your life, but that's not going to change your life. That can inspire a change in you, but what is actually going to make the difference, is that you need to be put into an environment. The Prophet ﷺ didn't say to the Sahaba, gave them a very beautiful lecture and they were set. It wasn't like that. You know, the Prophet was the best speaker, Jawami'ul Kalim. The Sahaba were, you know, I say a hadith to you, the Prophet himself was narrating his narrations to them. Are you understanding what's going on? Even then, the Prophet ordered them to be insulated in an environment. Because even those Sahaba, when they would go back to their families, they will question themselves. One Sahabi comes to the Prophet ﷺ, says, Ya Rasulullah, إِذَا كُنْتَ فِي عِنْدَكَ, when we're sitting with you, كَأَنَّ الْجَنَّةَ وَالنَّارِ فِي رَأْيِ الْعَيْنِ, like paradise and hell. It's like we can vision it. When you talk about paradise, it's like we can vision the fruits. وَفَاكِهَةٍ كَثِيرًا لَا مَقْطُوعَةٍ وَلَا مَمْنُوعَةٍ. The enormous amount of fruits, which are available at any moment in paradise. لَا مَقْطُوعَةٍ وَلَا مَمْنُوعَةٍ. Meaning, مَقْطُوعَةٍ means they are finished because they ran out of sale in paradise, and that doesn't happen. وَلَا مَمْنُوعَةٍ, and there's no season for fruits in paradise. Anytime you want. And then there is no restrictions of fruits because of a diet or diabetes. وَلَا مَمْنُوعَةٍ وَفُرُشٍ مَرْفُوعَةٍ. You have your places, your houses, your beds, your sofas, your cushions, your recliners. Allah has given all of this. وَفَاكِهَةٍ كَثِيرًا. You have everything. So when you live in this world of Jannah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is promising you everything you want, everything you need. And we are in this world as a test, and Allah will test you. Allah will ask you, what did you do in life? What have you prepared for the next life? And all these temptations which are surrounding you and I, my brothers, and this Sahaba, when they came to the Prophet ﷺ, so when we see Jannat and Jahannam, look at the answer the Prophet ﷺ gave this young man. He said, Ya Rasulullah, كَأَنَّ الْجَنَّةِ فِي رَعْيٍ عَيْنٍ. When we go back to our families, نَافَسْنَا أَهْلِينَا وَأَوْلَادَنَا نَافَسْنَا أَهْلِينَا وَشَمَمْنَا أَوْلَادَنَا. Like we go back to our families, we think about business, we think about family, the politics of family. We get distracted and we forget about next life. It's very natural that when you're taken out from that environment, you just feel like you forgot everything. Right now you're sitting here and you are thinking in your mind, I want to be better. And I can become better. But what's holding me back? What are those chains which are locking my feet? What are those ropes which are restraining my development and connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? The Sahaba and the companions were no superheroes. Like they had some superpower that they were not affected by what was happening around them. They were humans just like you and I. They lived many years as you and I will live, inshallah. Some died young, some died much older. They had distractions. They were young, they had temptations, they had money. We are not the first people in the world to drive a car and to have a phone. There were Muslims before us and there were Muslims today who have more than us, who have more money than us, who are more beautiful than us, who are more handsome than us, who are more privileged than us, and they're better Muslims than us. So what gives you and me the excuse to say, you know what? I have an excuse. They're more educated than us. It's just because what happens in life is when you present a person who's more religious than another person, that person becomes defensive, says, you know what, he's too extreme. No, we should always look at someone who's better than us. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Undur ila man huwa fawqakum, wa la tandur ila man huwa asfala minkum." When it comes to religion, look at people who are higher than you and get inspired by them. Then the Prophet, go back to the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet ﷺ said, oh my companions, إِنَّكُمْ لَوْ تَدُومُونَ عَلَى حَالٍ أَنْتُمْ عَلَيَّ. If you were to stay in the same condition that you have when you sit in my gatherings, where your emotions are elevated, and your thoughts are put into the next life, and your heart starts to beat with iman. When you have these thoughts and emotions, if you were to stay like this for the rest of your life, لَصَافَحَتْكُمُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ, you will be so religious, so pious, that the angels will come and greet you. Like, wow, these people are like amazing. But this will never happen. The iman will fluctuate up and down. Then the Sahaba asked the Prophet ﷺ, Ya Rasulullah, مِمَّنْ خَلَقَ الْأَرْضِ. How did Allah create the earth? And what was the main ingredient of the earth? The Prophet ﷺ said, Al-ma', water. وَجَعَلْنَا مِنَ الْمَاءِ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ حَيٍّ. By water, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made everything that we see, humans, the earth, the dirt, everything you see around is from the drop of liquid. Then the Sahaba asked the next question. So, مِمَّنْ خَلَقَ الْجَنَّةِ? What is the ingredients of paradise? You know? The Prophet ﷺ said, لَبِنَةٌ مِّن ذَهَبْ وَلَبِنَةٌ مِّن فِضَّةٍ. You have a brick of gold and a brick of silver. وَمِلَاتُهَا الْمِسْكُ الْأَظْفَرُ. And between the seals that bricks together is not cement, but it is musk. It is the fragrance of Jannah. And the sand and the stones and the desert and the agriculture and the fertilization of the land of Jannah. وَحَصَبَاؤُهَا لُؤْلُؤُ وَالْيَاقُوتُ. You know, when you look for a beach in Florida, right? You want to go to the cleanest, the whitest, and the warmest. You know, and if you're a Muslim, if you have modesty, the least populated, you know, and a hot season. So you look for those places which are more, you know, they give you like the top 10 beaches in the world, you know, and the top 10 beaches in America. You think about the sand, you think about the water. Imagine Jannah and the floor of Jannah. حَصَبَأُهَا لُؤْلُؤُ وَالْيَاقُوتُ. You know, and it's pearls, the flooring. And the rocks of Jannah are pearls and diamonds and rubies. You know, and the grass of Jannah is saffron. You know, and the Prophet ﷺ said in Jannah, when a person will get to paradise, then announcement will be made. Ya Ahl al-Jannah, anna lakum an tahyu fala tamutu abada. O people of Jannah, you will live forever and you will never die. So it's worthy of dying for Jannah than dying for this dunya, because when you make it there, you will live forever. And you'll be enjoying forever. You know, this is why this bargain is worth it. And those who fail to achieve paradise, أُولَٰئِكَ الَّذِينَ اشْتَرَوُا الضَّلَالَةَ بِالْهُدَىٰ فَمَا رَبِحَتْ تِجَارَةُهُمْ وَمَا كَانُوا مُهْتَدِينَ. They've made the biggest loss. And the deal that Allah has made, Allah is the one that's dealing with you. Not your eBay, not your PayPal, not the friend that you find on someone that you're dealing with. No. Your friend can cheat you. The 2% can be taken by PayPal, or the credit card company can charge you more. Allah has an accurate agreement. Inna Allah hashtara. Allah has made the deal. And Allah brought this verb in the past tense. So the deal doesn't need to be made now. It's already made. Allah has already made the deal. For what? For with who? Min al-mu'mineen. Allah is dealing with the believers. So Allah is not even dealing with someone who doesn't have faith. What is Allah asking for? Inna Allah ashtara min al-mu'minina anfusahum wa amwalahum. You give your life and your wealth, and Allah will give you paradise. Allah will give you paradise. You know, when Shaykh, he really nicely said, he said, if a rich person wants religion to come into his life or her life, they have to volunteer time. And if a poor person wants religion to come into his life or her life, he has to volunteer money. That aspect of your life which is most difficult for you to give for Allah, that needs to be sacrificed. For a rich person, it is easy to give millions of dollars or $10,000. Yeah, fundraiser, here. But you ask the person to come for Fajr? You ask the person to come for Tahajjud? You ask this person to sacrifice some time for volunteering? I'm not available. I can sponsor the pizza. I can do this. The Sahaba radiallahu anhu, they lived this life where you had Abdurrahman bin Auf and Abu Bakr who were very wealthy. But when it came to the battle of Badr, they were the first people in the rows. So they didn't say, Abdurrahman could have said, you know what, I'll sponsor Badr. Like he did before. He sponsored Tabuk. He sponsored Ahzab al-Usr. So many different battles. 70 camels, 100 horses, sponsoring right and left. I'm talking about hundreds and thousands of dollars in our time, you know. And there is no investment. This is for the sake of Allah. Anything the Prophet wanted, Islam wanted, he was there. He gave. Abu Bakr gave his shops, business. So they sponsored their wealth and they sponsored their time. They were given it. In return, Allah says, رِجَالٌ صَدَقُوا مَا عَهَدُوا اللَّهَ عَلَيْهِ. These people made their promise to God and they lived up to it, and Allah rewards them. فَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ قَضَى نَحْبَهُ وَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ يَنْتَظِرُ وَمَا بَدَّلُوا تَبْدِيلًا. Once you make a commitment to God, that God, I'm doing this for you, you're set for the rest of your life. So paradise is this journey to paradise. It's going to be challenging because Allah will give us a reward which is greater than the world can imagine. All the intellectual minds cannot fathom or perceive the inch of the beauty of paradise. The Prophet ﷺ said, وَلَقَابُ قَوْسِ أَحَدِكُم مِّنَ الْجَنَّةِ خَيْرٌ مِّنَ الدُّنْيَا وَمَا فِيهَا. That span that your feet can, one foot can take in paradise, or one whip, or length of one whip can take in paradise. That one foot by, like we sell by square foot or we lease by square footage, 1 square foot in paradise is more expensive than all the treasures and the wealth and the oil of this world put together. You can't purchase it. It's just not going to happen. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا وَمَاتُوا وَهُمْ كُفَّارٌ فَلَنْ يُقْبَلَ مِنْ أَحَدِهِمْ مِلْءُ الْأَرْضِ ذَهَبًا وَلَوْ افتدى به. Quran says it very beautiful also. Another way of understanding. If the people in hell say to God, "Oh Allah, we will give you the entire world and all the mountains made out of gold. Please take us out of hell." Allah says, "Psh, the deal has been made. If you don't have belief, you have no choice. You have no option of entering into paradise. And you don't have actions to back it up." So my friends, my brothers and sisters, life is, you will see a lot. And we sometimes, we educate ourselves, but we don't have the experience. And I'm young, but you will go through so much. And sometimes if you don't have the faith, you will lose everything. Sometimes life will tie upon you so much. Only thing that will take you out of it is your faith in Allah. If your faith in Allah is firm, doesn't matter what the situation is around you, Allah will help you. We deal with biggest problems, We might feel a class. It's an issue, We might miss a flight, Our phone might break, Oh, my friend's not picking up my phone. Biggest problem. Like, what is the biggest problem we can think of? For those who lost a relative, their grandparents, how well were we connected to them? My mom's sister's in-laws' parents passed away. Like, yeah, have we even met them? Just give an example. What challenges have we faced that we are saying that we are ready for those challenges which are coming in, and we are able to stand in front of them? This dunya, this cell phone, right, is enough for us to shake us and drop us on our knees when it comes to faith. Just a cell phone. I think the devil has taken a chill, he's just relaxing. I think he's retired. After, inventing the cell phone, the devil's like, you know what? I don't even got to work anymore. I got my work done. You know why? Because this is making the job half easy for the devil. That's it. Before I wanted to do something haram, we had to think about it. We had to plan it. Watching movies, listen to music, we had to go to Blockbuster. We had to go to a movie store. We had to go to a music store to pick up a CD. You wanted to see something, we had to go to some magazine store or some video store. You wanted to buy something, you had to go to the mall. You wanted to backbite about somebody, you have to go meet someone to backbite about them. You want to show some immodesty, you have to dress immodest to go outside to see someone to see you dress immodest. But now, one picture, the world sees you. One comment about someone, you backbited about her or him in front of the entire world. You want to disrespect somebody, you have to go to them and say, you know what, this is you and this is you. Now we can openly disrespect her or him on social media and not even see the reaction of that person. This is why these messenger groups or WhatsApp groups, sometimes a younger person will disrespect an older person and not even knowing that it's a joke, but everyone here that's watching and reading this is enjoying the disrespect to an adult or the immodesty to in conversation. So wrong has become much as easy. Like at the same time, you can get the reward. You can say Assalamu alaikum on a group and 100 people can say wa alaikum assalam. You can post a very good ayah or a hadith or a statement of a pious person on your Facebook status and the world can be inspired. You can just share a link about a Quran story and you can get someone's life to change. So there is so much good in it, but I see it all reflects back and returns back to the person himself. Who you are and what you're doing with your life. Like you can have the car can take you to the masjid or the car can take you to somewhere haram. So this is why, my friends and my brothers and sisters, this journey of life is very simple. We will have a lot of ups and downs. This is why we see these seasons in our country, in this state. In some places, they only have 2 seasons, like Costa Rica will only have summer and winter. And some places they will never see the cold and they will never feel the heat. The wisdom behind the seasons, one of them we can take out from the lessons of Islam is there's always a evolution of change. And change is within the person. There is no one that can say, I can't change. They say you can't teach a old dog new tricks. But for a Muslim, doesn't matter how old you are, there's a chance that you can learn from the lessons around you. You can change. And that change is not from an exterior element, it's something within. A person can be in America and change, and a person can be in Mecca and never repent. So this is a very powerful, opportunity, great opportunity that we have as a Muslim living in this society. How long are we going to live? And while we're traveling up north, or we're traveling out of state, or we're traveling somewhere over the weekend, wherever we stop, we understand that we're going to pray, eat, stretch our legs, get back in the car, get to our destination. Similarly in dunya, what's our final destination? The cool thing about our destination is our parents have already been there. Our father and mother, Adam and Hawa. So we need to go back to that place. Sometimes for those who are visiting from Syria, who moved from Syria, or for those who lived in another state and moved to Michigan, they always want to go back to the original homeland. They remember, they can understand this better. They remember the streets and the restaurants of those places. So if you're from Flint and you're out, I don't know if you remember anything about Flint, but if you're out studying in Ann Arbor or Washington or Detroit or Wayne State, anywhere, you're always thinking about your mom, your house, if you really are attached to it. Bilal radiallahu anh was a slave in Mecca, tortured by the mushrikeen, the pagans of Mecca. When he migrated, he wasn't an original citizen of Mecca, okay? He was brought there as a slave, or his father was brought there as a slave, Ibn Rabah. And he lived there and he worked as a slave, okay? He was tortured for standing up for his faith. Even when he left Mecca, when he got to Medina, he got sick. And he would cry and he would say poetry. Abu Bakr got sick. When you get homesick and you get you go to a new society, a new climate, you just can't get used to the water and the environment. I feel this all the time when I go overseas. Bilal radiallahu actually was not only physically out of place, he was mentally out of place. He's like, where am I? And he used to say, ألا ليت شعري هل أبيتن ليلة بواد وحول إذخر وجليل وهل أردنا يوما مياه وجنة وهل يبدون لي شاملة مطفيل. He says, come on, someone tell me one day I will see the trees of Mecca, the mountains and the valleys of Mecca. Someone just tell me that there's hope to see it. I just want to see it. We don't even live in Mecca. When we go to Mecca, Medina, when we leave it, we feel so attached to it because it's the house of Allah and the Prophet's city. And Bilal radiallahu would cry. In Muwatta, Imam Malik actually has this hadith in this poem. He would express himself like, I can't take it. They came to the Prophet, Bilal, we can't take it in Medina. The climate is different, everything is different. Though the Prophet is with them, their family migrated with them, some of them. The Prophet actually had to raise his hand. Allahumma barik fi Medina. Oh Allah bless this city, like the way you bless the city of Mecca by the dua of Ibrahim. Allahumma barik fi muddina wa sa'ina wa tamlina. Allah bless our fruits, bless everything. And the first fruits of the season would come. The Prophet would take the fruits, whether it was grapes or dates or anything that grew in Medina, the Prophet would take it. So pretend these are grapes, right? Or apples. They would come to the Prophet ﷺ and they would bring it, before anyone would consume it, they would bring it to the Prophet. And the Prophet would look at it and he would raise his hands and he said, Allah, you bless the fruits of Medina, like the way you blessed Makkah by the dua of Ibrahim. And then he would take the fruits and he would give it to the youngest person in the gathering. Because with the young, there's the dua and the help of the Prophet, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he would do this. Can you imagine? So the Prophet actually had to pray to God so people can feel comfortable in Medina, and Allah bless Medina. This brings me back to the point that I want to stress. That our parents, Adam and Hawa, you can imagine how they felt when they left Jannah. My God, all right? You're surrounded by angels and the fruits in the garden, and here we are. There's absolutely nobody on the earth. For some of us, like me, when I first moved to Flint, I was like, man, this place is in the boonies, right? But now I feel comfortable because I have friends and family in the masjid, in the community. I feel like I'm at home. And sometimes when I leave this community, I feel like I can't wait to come back. I'm being honest. Adam, when he came to dunya, you can imagine it was deserted. There was nothing there. There was no Kaaba. He built the Kaaba first. Nothing, just barren land. And he was away from his wife for 40 years. He was, had to do tawbah for 40 years. That's why they say, the there's a statement, there's no authenticity to it. They say Adam landed in Sri Lanka, and Hawa landed in Jeddah. That's why it's called Jeddah, the grandmother, right? And they both met, and they walked and met in Arafah. And Allah accepted his tawbah on the 9th of Dhul Hijjah, which is the day Allah accepts everyone's du'as. The 9th of Dhul Hijjah in the season of Hajj. And they repented. So you can imagine how much they missed. They cried to Allah every single day. He cried so much that he couldn't wait to go back. So my friends, we are supposed to be back in paradise. And God has made paradise easy for us too. There are challenges, but it's not something out of our reach. How are we supposed to live in life? Being honest with you. Just the shoes that we have, the dresses that we have, if someone was to look at us, our lifestyle, it looks like we're planning to live for another 100 years. And sometimes when you take your goals and your dreams, and there's nothing like, I want to become the best Muslim. Our dreams outlive our lifespan. That we're going to live this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, but that's not going to really happen. So my friends, the Prophet said to Ibn Umar, listen, he grabbed his shoulder, all right? So people here who are not paying attention, I want you to grab the shoulder of the person next to you. Just shoulder, not the knee, all right? You don't have to so he grabbed him and he shook him, right? Taha, come here. Get up, all right? So Prophet ﷺ is casually standing around and he grabs the shoulder of Ibn Umar, right? To and when I'm holding Taha like this, I'm going to tell him something important. I got to tell you something. I love you, okay? So for the sake of Allah. So you grab the person's shoulder and you want to tell him something, or you want to tell her something pay attention. The Prophet grabbed the shoulder of Ibn Umar, the son of Umar radiallahu anhu. Okay? He said, listen up. You live in this world like a stranger. The world will come to you. Your dad might become a Khalifa. You might earn so much. Kun fi dunya ka'annaka gharib. Like a stranger. What does a stranger do when he comes to a city? What happens? If someone is visiting Flint, they don't really care about the economy of Flint. They don't really care about who's praising them, who's criticizing them. That's life. You shouldn't be influenced by the criticism of people. Who cares? And don't be overblown when people praise you. You know what happens when someone starts to praise you? You feel like your ego starts to grow. Why? That brings you back to you're thinking this is what you really think about. This is your life. You have no other ultimate goal. That if people are praising you and Allah is not pleased with you, you need to be worried. So don't let the praises of people build this ego in you. And then don't let the criticism of the world make you depressed. And sometimes when you don't think this is the end of the world, because you're a stranger here. Oh, abiru sabil, or a person that's passing by a community. You're not really worried about what's going to happen. I'm not saying we should be oblivious of the politics, but everything that is there should be a means of us reaching our destination. And traveling is healthy sometimes. This is why Imam Shafi says, Safir تغرب عن الأوطان في طلب العلا سافر فإن في الأسفار خمس فوائد. Traveling there are 5 benefits. And in traveling, you can determine what type of person you are. This is why somebody came to Umar radiallahu anhu and he said, this person's a nice man. Umar was like, yeah? How can you say that? He's like, just looks like a nice person. He said, have you lived with him? He says, no. Have you done business with him? He said, no. Have you traveled with him? He says, no. So you have no right to say anything about him. Until you don't do 3 things with a person, you don't know who they are. You don't know who they are. So Safir, فَفِنَّ فِي الْأَسْفَارِ خَمْسَ فَوَائِدٍ. There are 5 benefits. Number 1, تَفَرَّجُ هَمًّا. You get relieved of your stress. Sometimes in your community you're kind of tense. You travel a little bit. وَإِكْتِسَابُ مَعِيشَةٍ. And then also your sustenance is written in other places. So it's good to try out the new restaurants and other places and work in business. وَصُحْبَةُ مَاجِدٍ. You also you travel with someone who's a good partner and you learn good manners. وَعِلْمٌ وَأَدَابٌ. You learn etiquettes and manners when you travel with good people. So when we're traveling this break, we should keep 2 things in mind. We should be a good partner as we travel with somebody. We shouldn't be a burden for anyone. And number 2, we should look at life like this. We should look at life like this. You know, we're going to travel, like Imam Nawawi's that poem in his book, in Riyadh al-Salihin. Imam Shafi, إِنَّ لِلَّهِ عِبَادٌ فَطَنَا طلقوا الدنيا وخافوا الفتنة نظروا فيها فلما علموا أنها ليست لحي وطنا جعلوها لجة واتخذوا صالح الأعمال فيها سفنا. You know, we need the world, but it's like a ship sailing over the water. The minute the water seeps into the ship, it will destroy the ship and the people who are riding the ship. We are in the dunya, we need the dunya. We can't live without money. We can't live without our family. We can't live without our work, our job. So we're not going to go and we're not going to become monks or something. No, we're going to live with the world. We're not going to live in a cave. We're going to live in the city. But the poem goes in saying that the minute the money, which is the water for the ship, the money comes into your heart, it will sink your faith. Because every decision you make, even marriage, will be selfish. It will be money-based. Your relationship, your house, your job. When you give donations, that money that you're giving might make you feel generous, but you're doing it with the intention that I become famous. So it's contaminated, it's polluted. Everything you're doing is for a gain in the world. And if there is no gain and popularity of the world, you're not going to do it. So it comes down to the core of the heart, my friends, my brothers and sisters, that we have to make our focus straight, who we're heading for, what we're living for, and that's our priority, is to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And our destination is akhirah. And this world, will feel like a day. When Allah will ask us, and the questions that will be asked to the people in akhirah. Allah will ask the people in akhirah, "Kam labithtum fil ardi adada sanin?" How many years did you live? How many years did you live? The answer will be, قالوا لبثنا يوما أو بعض يوم. Oh Allah, we lived a day. A day. 60 years will feel like a day. Then Allah will ask them, no. يتخافتون بينهم إن لبثتم إلا عشرا. Some people will say 10 days. Some people say we live 1 day. There will be a confusion of how many days we lived in the world. Then another group will say, نحن أعلم بما يقولون إذ يقول أمثلهم طريقة إن لبثتم إلا يوما. Then finally one group will say, you know what, I know for sure how much we lived. We lived 1 day. We didn't live longer than a day. Then finally, كأنهم يوم يرونها لم يلبثوا إلا عشية أو ضحاها. The Quran says, then when they will see the day of judgment, it will feel like they lived a morning or evening. And then another ayah says, وَيَوْمَ تَقُومُ السَّاعَةِ يُقْسِمُ الْمُجْرِمُونَ مَا لَبِثُوا غَيْرَ سَاعَةٍ. The sinners will feel that they lived in the dunya for 1 hour. Just for a moment. It went bad so fast. The angel of death came to Nuh alayhi salam when he was on his deathbed. They said, "Oh Prophet Nuh, you've seen a lot. 950 years as a prophet. So you saw so many generations come and leave. Sifli al-hayat. Tell me how life felt." And when you sit next to an older gentleman, or a mother, or brother, or father, someone that's old, they have so much to tell you about life. So much, lessons and experiences. So the angel of death is asking the angel, Prophet Nuh alayhi salam. Prophet Nuh alayhi salam says, very simple, كَبَيْتٍ لَهَا بَابَانِ. My life, though it was very long, it felt like a house which has 2 doors. دَخَلْتُ مِنْ أَوَّلٍ وَخَرَجْتُ مِنْ آخَرٍ. I entered from the front and I exited from the back, and my life just went by. Now, this life right now, as being young, right in our hands. Right in our hands. This night that will come tonight, it's in your hand. It could be spent in obeying Allah, and it could be spent in disobeying Allah. And this will determine the future of your life. And between this age, 10 to 30, is the youth. The youth. If we are able to spend this youth properly, we are guaranteed a first-class VIP seating under the throne of Allah. That's it. Between the teenage and 30, the youth. And we are enjoying that youth. A lot of old people wish they could have, our youth today, but they don't. So we have this period that we're enjoying right now. What are we going to do with it? What are our goals? What do I want to achieve? There are a lot of people studying in universities, so don't think you're a genius or you're very intellectual. There is no intellect in a person that can't obey the Lord. Because the Quran says, "Hum la ya'qilun," to the kuffar. And there are huge philosophers and inventors in the non-Muslims. But Allah says, لا يعقلون. They don't have brains, they can't think. Basically what it's trying to say, the word aql, and the root meaning of aql, aqala yaqul, means to not something or to stop something. It means mana'. This is why the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ says, when a person asks the Prophet, I have a camel, should I tie it and then come inside, or should I leave it and then? The Prophet said, you silly, lock the door, then pray to Allah no one steals your car, right? So he said, i'qal wa tawakkal. Tie the camel. So i'qal means to tie, to stop, to not. So aql, the real meaning of aql is to stop something, to tie something, to restrict something. If a human does not have the minimum requirement of him stopping herself or himself from the disobedience of God, this is a minimum requirement of maturity and intellect. If a person cannot realize the person, that Allah that has done everything from you, though you are written books, you write books, you read all the books, you are the first 4.0 in college and university, you are honors program, Ivy League school, but you can't pray on time and you can't speak to an adult, I'm afraid you have no education and manners. And I'm afraid this will take you to hell, that degree and that education, if it's not applied into life. So aql is a basic understanding where a person can refrain. Why do you call someone baligh? Why do you call someone mature? So Islam says, if the children are raised well enough, when they hit the age of puberty, they should be responsible for their actions. Not what America says, where the Western world, 18 years old, and you're responsible for your crimes and stuff, and other than that, juvenile. But what Muslims say, from the day you hit the age of puberty, you are responsible for the decisions that you make, for the food that you eat, for the people that you hang around with, and the things that you say, oh, not accountable. No. 12, 13, the salats that we miss, the money that we stole, and the people that we cheated, and the hearts that we broke, all of that is accountable. There's accountability for it. And if you're a new Muslim, you're lucky. You came into Islam, you got everything forgiven. You're lucky. So my friends and my brothers and sisters, basic principles is, we Muslims are going to be distracted from the things around. Like a traveler, don't pay too much attention to the things around you. Focus on your goal, enjoy life, succeed in your career, keeping Allah in front. Keeping Allah in front. Keeping Allah as the ultimate goal. My religion, my religion as a purpose. Even when getting married, I'm telling you young people right now, when it comes to marriage, if you don't put religion in front of you, and you put finance, career, the common things that we like and you like, if you put beauty, a lot of people say, I want the most beautiful person in life, the most handsome, if you put this ahead of you, I swear, this will lead, because the Prophet said it, Taribat yadak, may God destroy you, if you don't give priority to deen. The Prophet actually cursed the person who gives priority to money, family, and beauty. تنكح المرأة لأربع لجمالها ولحسبها ولمالها ولدينها فاظفر بذات الدين تربت يداك. So our priorities today, our expectations, our religion is just based on the appearance of people, not the internal aspect of the human, the character, the development, the religion. So if this is in front, if our minds are straight, everything in life would be easy. No one will be dishonest to you. If you marry an honest person, if you find an honest person, they will never mistreat you. Though they might not have the best job at the moment, they will try hard enough to make you happy, please you. They will keep you happy, and and God will support them because they have Allah's support because they're pious. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us people who are focused in our decisions in life, and our priorities are in front of us, and this journey of life Allah makes easy for us. And if it gets a little bumpy or it gets a little difficult, what do? Number one, Allah loves it when a person is in pain and cries to Allah. Allah loves the tears of His slaves. Allah loves the tears. So crying in front of the world might be a sign of weakness, but crying in front of Allah, it's a sign of honor. Let me say that again. Crying in front of the world is, come on, don't be a baby. But actually crying in front of Allah is a sign of respect. Allah loves you and He wants to see you in this situation. And don't be shy to cry in front of Allah, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the greatest and He can do anything for you whenever He wants, however He wants. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make our life very simple for us and make everything in the future of our life easy for us. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fulfills our dreams and our wishes, and we can live our life according to His commands. And everyone that's here today, make this intention. I will live my life according to how Allah wants me to live my life. Now, that's a huge intention. Now, you have to make the determination. You have to have the determination. You have to have the willpower to help you succeed in these, in these goals in life that you have. And that will affect everything that we do, every single thing. How we speak, how we talk. May Allah protect one and all, and anyone that's traveling this weekend, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make the travel easy for them, and they come back to their families with afiyah, and make the camp that we have, Shanti Creek, a successful means of happiness for our families, success for the ummah, and hidayah for the ummah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala remove the difficulties upon the ummah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam across the world. And anyone that is sick, we ask Allah to give them complete recovery and cure. Anyone that has any worries or du'as, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to remove their worries and accept the du'as. Anyone that's sitting here, alhamdulillah, brothers and sisters that came, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless you without any boundaries, without any limitations. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless all of us, to forgive all of our sins, accept all of our du'as. And we show to Allah, Allah, we came. Allah, we came. Allah, we took the step towards you. You make paradise run towards us. Because that's what Allah says. You walk towards me and I run towards you. Oh Allah, we came to the house of Allah. You make the rest easy for us. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us amongst the noble, the pious, the fortunate people. And all of our parents, may Allah give our parents long lives with afiyah and barakah. Jazakumullah khair. Wa akhiru da'wan alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Any questions? Everyone wants to leave, you can leave. If you have any questions, you can feel free to ask any questions.